How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. On today's show, we are going to be hitting on the big monumental blockbuster trade between the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Lakers. Luka Doncic headed to LA to play alongside King James, and a lot of mixed reviews on this trade. Both players are not completely healthy right now. Luka Doncic is nursing a calf injury. Anthony Davis wasn't available yesterday in the Lakers' big win at MSG over the New York Knickerbockers. OG Anunoby also got injured in that game. So we're going to be hitting on this big trade, in addition to some hot takes that I put together with regard to the American League East. And as you can hear the birds chirping in the background, the seasons are changing. Spring is on the way, and baseball is less than 2 weeks away. Pitchers and catchers reporting very soon, and Major League Baseball is about to get into yet another season. So I'm going to be starting this up with some MLB hot takes before we talk about the big story out in the NBA pertaining to the American League East. A couple of things that I myself am cooking up that I believe are going to come to fruition in the new Major League season. Going to start this up with the Toronto Blue Jays, Vladimir Guerrero or Bo Bichette. I have one of these two superstars getting traded, if not both, at the trade deadline. Vladdy, in my opinion, is very likely to get moved. And, potential suitors, I have a suspicion that he may end up in the National League. The Toronto Blue Jays, this is definitely an interesting kind of year because they are in between in terms of certain contracts to certain players that are on the superstar level. And I also believe that a managerial change might be going down, as I've been forecasting this probably for the better part of two spring trainings, that they were going to make a change at the managerial position if the American League East falls out of reach for them. And I think my guy, former captain New York Yankees, Mr. Don Mattingly, will be the guy that gets the bump up. He's a former National League Manager of the Year in the pandemic season with the Miami Marlins. He succeeded Joe Torre in Los Angeles prior to Dave Roberts being the man over there. So Mattingly definitely has quite a bit of managerial experience. He is well beloved around the league by former players that were his peers, current players, and just people who cover the great game of baseball. I think Donnie Baseball gets that opportunity, staying in the American League East and taking over as Blue Jays manager. And I'm going to call about 60 games in, because although the Toronto Blue Jays have made some splashes, I do not think that they're up to par with some of the power teams in the American League. My beloved New York Yankees got a couple of hot takes here for them. Paul Goldschmidt, 37-year-old Paul Goldschmidt, former 2022 National League MVP. I'm forecasting a 30-plus home run season for Goldschmidt. I think on some metrics, it's going to remind Yankee fans of the kind of year that Matt Carpenter had, also a former Cardinal when he came over. I think with the short porch, I think with the excitement of being involved in a pennant chase, and I think with some of the protection in this Yankee lineup, I think Goldie's going to have quite the year. I see him as an upgrade over Anthony Rizzo with the glove. Rizzo, a former Gold Glove guy in his own right. Father Time and injuries have really went to town on him, unfortunately. But I think the Yankees, albeit for a one-year situation, get a very qualified guy that, in addition to being a power hitter and a run producer in this lineup, can also be a good mentor and a good influence in that locker room. I also believe that it would be wise for the Yankees to be very patient with first baseman Ben Rice. I do believe that Rice could potentially have a future at first base, but it will be interesting to see how that plays out. Garrett Cole, Won the American League Cy Young a couple of years ago. Last year, he missed half the year before throwing his first pitch of the season. I think Gerrit Cole is going to be a top candidate to win American League Cy Young, and I am predicting a 20-win campaign for Gerrit Cole. I think Gerrit Cole really elevated his game last year in some big moments. I know a lot of people are going to remember the mishap at first between he and Anthony Rizzo, little league blunder in probably the worst inning in the history of any and all World Series. But Gerrit Cole, I think, is going to come in and really be the general of that pitching rotation. And the Yankees definitely, with losing Juan Soto, gave a lot of love to the rotation and the bullpen alike. And speaking of that bullpen, I am projecting the Yankees to have the best bullpen ERA in all of baseball, as I am very confident that Luke Weaver, who did a great job as the closer last year, now getting bumped down to the eighth inning as the immediate bridge to former Milwaukee Brewer top 5 closer Devin Williams. Jonathan Loaiziga coming over, definitely going to be a key cog in that pen, as I see him having action in innings 6 and 7 for the most part, 6 and 7 for the most part. But I think this bridge to get to Williams is going to be the reason why the Yankees should be just around a 100-win team. Because when you look at some of the losses last year, due to the inefficiency of their former closer, Clay Holmes, I think this is a year that the Yankees get a lot of that rectified. And I do have the New York Yankees winning north of 100 games and yet again winning the American League East. The Baltimore Orioles, a team that has lost a lot of talent. I do believe that if they are within striking distance of a wild card situation, and, with the way that Major League Baseball has included so many more teams in the dance of fall, I do believe that will be the case. I think they're going to desperately be looking for some arms, as they have lost some very important cogs. Second-gen player Jackson Holliday, I think this is the year that he makes a real impression around Major League Baseball and asserts himself as a star of the future for the Baltimore Orioles. But I do not have the Baltimore Orioles making the playoffs this year. And I think that under the 90-win threshold will be a disappointment for a team that the last couple of years had massive expectations to win a World Series. Tampa Bay Rays, they're still kind of reeling from the hurricane stadium-wise. And I do think that that's going to be difficult for them to have that same kind of rare home advantage that they'd have at the Trop, because there is no stadium quite like the Trop. You've got the catwalk. I think the Rays have been built to play in that kind of stadium. George Steinbrenner Field will be interesting. Seeing the Rays playing outdoor games definitely will be interesting. But also with what happened with their former superstar, Wander Franco, a guy that the Rays were building around, and with all his legal troubles and with his Major League Baseball career essentially being over, they're still reeling on that. And, Tampa, with limited pockets, albeit I think Kevin Cash is one of the premier managers in all of baseball, it is hard for them to get superstars. And sadly, the Rays constantly, filter out their talent from the farm. They make a name for themselves. They move on. They keep it going. Definitely on some metrics, the Moneyball theme that's similar to what Billy Beane made so famous. But I have the Rays finishing last in this division. And I think that their ineptitude at home is going to be a big reason why. The Boston Red Sox, I've got Alex Cora as a finalist for Manager of the Year. I do believe that given his resume, he is one of the best managers in all of baseball. And I think that the Boston Red Sox surprised some people last year with how competitive they were. And I do think that the Red Sox adding some arms will go a long way this year. And I expect them to be a playoff team and finish second in this American League East division. I think a lot of people would naturally assume that the Orioles will still be a challenge for the Yankees, as will the Toronto Blue Jays. But I believe that the Boston Red Sox are actually a lot better than people realize. And this is the year that they turn the corner, assuming that they stay healthy. And I do believe that they will be more than an adequate challenge for the New York Yankees. Big trade in the NBA. Lakers get younger and make Luka the potential new face of the franchise. When you consider Luka's age in his mid-20s, A lot of upside potentially for the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't think this has a lot to do with LeBron and a lot more to do with Luka. I think the Lakers are looking to most certainly continue to be relevant in the post LeBron Lakers universe. As the Dallas Mavericks go, a lot of people are scratching their heads as to why they would move on from such a dynamic superstar like Luka, considering that this team did make the NBA Finals last year with the combo of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. A lot of reports are coming out that the Dallas Mavericks were very hesitant to give Luka that supermax deal and feel good about it because of the fact that they are not the biggest fans of his conditioning or his lifestyle. And, we have seen some of the injuries and conditioning woes be problematic for Luka. And while he is a phenomenal scorer and a great basketball player, I do believe that the Dallas Mavericks feel that from a defensive metric, he may not be, the player on both sides. Whereas Anthony Davis, albeit possibly not the same player that he was when he helped the Los Angeles Lakers win their most recent title in the Disney World bubble playoffs, he is a defensive force. He's still a premier center in this league. And the Mavericks are kind of selling it that defense wins championships, and they feel that he and Kyrie Irving can get them over the top in the West. I personally don't subscribe to that. I expect the Lakers to add a center as the deadline is quickly approaching. And, love LeBron, hate LeBron, indifferent to LeBron. LeBron gets another superstar to chase another championship. And, it's going to be ridiculed if they lose. It's probably going to be ridiculed if they win. But this most definitely gives the Los Angeles Lakers a better chance to come out of the Western Conference. And, last night, undermanned Lakers team, really stuck it to the New York Knicks on a bad shooting night for the Knicks. And, as a Knicks fan, I'm hoping that OG Anunoby has a quick recovery. It was revealed that he had a foot sprain, and it's unfortunate because he was definitely feeling good from beyond the arc. But the Knicks just flat performance in front of the home faithful on MSG, in MSG, and tough loss for the Knicks. But, that ends the Knicks' current winning streak, which was at 5, and now it's time for the Knicks to start a new one. But I must admit that over the course of the last few years, a frustration of mine has been the Knicks' erratic play at home. When you're chasing championship and you're supposed to be an elite team, I do believe that you have to be better at home. And the Knicks are okay at home, but not as dominant as I would wish for, and definitely a far cry from when they were that team at home in the 90s. Daniel Nunez, how you doing, brother? Thanks for joining. Big trade for your Lakers, man. Big trade for your Lakers. Definitely think that it opens up your window to potentially win a championship because, quite frankly, I don't think it was happening with the cast you had. Anthony Davis actually has some connections with his new team, the Mavericks, as from a business standpoint off the court. So I did find that interesting, but I imagine he was rather shocked with the trade. And, hard to say that you don't feel that LeBron's got his fingerprints on this in some way. And, like I said, love LeBron, hate LeBron. It is a reason why people feel that kind of way. But yeah, like I said, defense wins championships. I'm sorry. If I'm a Maverick fan, I'm kind of heated. And not be so much because they move on from Luka. I'm not convinced that this was the right trade for their future. You're talking a 6-year age gap between these two guys and an older player that gets injured more. When Davis is right, when AD is right, one of the best centers in the league and one of the biggest imposing defensive forces, but definitely a risky move for the Dallas Mavericks. But the Mavericks essentially feel that Luka, on certain metrics of his training regimen, just doesn't take things serious enough. And when you're giving out that kind of coin for a supermax deal, I do more than understand why the Mavericks did kind of lean towards letting him go. But it's kind of shocking, such a jump from year 1 to year 2 with the combo of Kyrie Irving and Luka. And in that regard, I think most of the NBA world was pretty shocked that within an hour of the Lakers defeating the Knicks on the road, that this move was made. But adds a little spice to the West. And LeBron James definitely aging, not the player that he once was, but still a guy that can definitely get the most out of Luka. I think LeBron can play the role of facilitator. I think in the Lakers' mind, they're going to try to build this team moving forward over the next decade for Luka Doncic. So it's going to be very interesting to see the moves that the Lakers make, as it appears that Luka Doncic will indeed be the face. And, yesterday was my birthday, February 1st. Another trip around the sun. Very thankful. Shouts out to my girlfriend, Jen, for just, doing her best to make things a special day. But when you get older and when you get some high age, truth be told, it's the small things that matter more. And sometimes just having a day of peace and just being around the people you love is what matters the most. So I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, I genuinely appreciate everyone who reached out to me yesterday, wishing me a happy birthday, taking a moment out of their day to acknowledge my day. So thank you all very, very much. It is Super Bowl week coming up. And a week from today, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs will be getting it on in New Orleans. Do want to ask you guys this. It's been a topic in hip hop for a hot minute, with Lil Wayne getting bypassed for the Super Bowl halftime show in favor of Kendrick Lamar. Now, I understand that in Super Bowls past, sometimes when it comes to music acts, they have tried to, if it's their city or if they have links to the city, try to make it make sense in that regard. While I understand that Lil Wayne has quite the catalog, and he is definitely one of the more notable people to come out from that region, on the flip side, I think Kendrick Lamar is at the top of his game right now in rap and hip hop, and it's a hard guy to bypass. Um, I do feel, I do genuinely feel that there could be a Lil Wayne appearance there, because I think Kendrick Lamar is a guy that respects, his elders, so to speak. So I would not be the least bit surprised if Lil Wayne graces the stage with Kendrick Lamar. Of course, some of the stuff they like to do is behind the scenes to kind of give a little bit of a surprise value. But I don't think this was something against Lil Wayne. I just think it's the timing of it all. And when you think about the job that Kendrick Lamar did in his lyrical beef against Drake, right now, Kendrick Lamar is white hot. Hip hop fans patiently anticipated new music from Kendrick as he stepped away for a while, but coming back and as strong as he did, and just really bodying Drake in most people's estimations, kind of asserting himself as the numero uno right now. And that's part of hip hop. That's part of rap. It's competition, and there is absolutely nothing that's not allowed when you're going head to head in rap. But yeah, Super Bowl Sunday round the corner, definitely going to be interesting. And one reference about my birthday before I get out of here. A lot of sports things involving Tom Brady as well as the Los Angeles Lakers have went down on that day. The Pau Gasol trade, February 1st, which reopened the Lakers championship window, as he was the number 2 to Kobe Bryant's team. And this is, of course, the post-Shaq Lakers, where the Lakers were able to win 2 championships with Kobe as the leader. They made 3 consecutive finals, the first trip losing to the Boston Celtics, then beating the Orlando Magic, and then beating the Celtics in that rematch. Year 3, where they tried to have a second three-peat, they fell short to the eventual champion Dallas Mavericks. So, a lot of significance to February 1st with the Lakers making some, franchise-changing moves. Why did I bring up Tom Brady? Because I always thought it was rather funny that Tom Brady, not once, but twice, retired on my birthday, February 1st. Of course, as many of you know, he had the shortest retirement, or I don't even know if he filed his papers. I know that Brett Favre had a couple that were never real, but Tom Brady, 2 consecutive years, retired from the NFL. And looking at it in retrospect, I think the way that Tom Brady went out in the season before he really retired, when they lost to the Rams, I think that would have been the best way to go out, because he almost single-handedly brought that team back with a little assistance from Cam Akers. making a couple of miscues on offense. But yeah, February 1st, definitely an eventful day. Baseball is around the corner. Look for us to go hard on our Super Bowl coverage coming at you this week. Going to try to get everybody from the crew together. We all have different schedules, but, with the magnitude of the game, with so much on the line, with the Kansas City Chiefs trying to be the first team to ever three-peat in the Super Bowl era, definitely going to be, just a star-studded affair. Saquon Barkley having one of the greatest seasons of any and all running backs. And the Philadelphia Eagles try to prevent NFL history while making a little bit of history of their own, looking for their second Lombardi trophy. It is going to be an excellent Super Bowl. And we are going to give you a detailed rundown of not only what we think is going to happen on Super Sunday, but how both these teams ultimately got to the big game. Until next time, I am Richie. If you haven't already, please make it a point to like and subscribe to the channel, the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast on YouTube. And in addition to our Super Bowl coverage, look for our divisional previews for Major League Baseball, as baseball is around the corner, and we are going to be going hard on bringing you our breakdowns of each and every division and giving you a look ahead to the next Super Bowl. Take a great day. Take a great day. Have a great day, everyone. And I appreciate all the support. And, for one last time, I just want to humbly say thank you, everyone, for reaching out. Sometimes we don't say it enough, but one of the grandest blessings in life is just waking up. And to have another birthday, comes new hope, new goals, new aspirations for the new year. So I just want to say ever so kindly, thank you for everyone who took some time to reach out to me yesterday. It meant the world to me. Have a great day, everyone.